Alright, video gaming people of the video gaming planet, we have successfully finished our run of INDIKA, the video game made by people who have clearly made video games that make video games with things that are video game related. Stronghold Crusader Definitive Edition? Slime, I have some bad news for you. I have some very, very bad news for you. First of all, this was redeemed. First of all, why Stronghold Crusade Definitive Edition? I think I have like a physical copy of this game. Let me post this in Discord so I remember it. This isn't Super Mario speedrunning. Play recently and also made a great title game for me. Yeah, I played one of these games as a kid too. But here's the bad news, Limbo. I have another redeem I have to do, which is Wrath of the Righteous, which was redeemed by Dualius 2 weeks ago, and this is a long redeem. This is like a 200-hour redeem, so I guess we'll no worries at all. Okay, I guess what we can do is we can maybe try to like schedule so I can play this a bit in the middle, maybe. I remember playing these games as a kid, though. I think I unironically might have a copy, but it's behind my books, so I don't want to go look for it right now. I remember loving this because you build like castles and stuff, right? Then you like have to defend them. That's an interesting redeem. Very unexpected. Good job, Slambo. Very, very unexpected. Man, I wish maybe I can go find my original copy. I blinked the other two. I don't think this is a 200-hour game. I have some sincere doubts, but like games you played, RimWorld for 1,000 hours, and They Are Billions for 187 hours. I love They Are Billions. This game is so good. Please give me a They Are Billions 2, please. For the love of God, are they making a They Are Billions 2 already? What is this? Lords of Sumia? What the hell is this? Wait, that came out. Oh, that came before Their Billion. All right, so well, listen. I'll put it on the schedule, Semba, and we'll figure out a time. Okay. We'll figure out some times to play this. We're playing a goddamn castle building RTS and the Wrath of the Righteous. No stress about it. No, listen. I appreciate the game redeem. All right, back to INDIKA, everyone. We're talking about INDIKA right now. Oh, yeah! Thank you for the game redeem. Oh man, I'm gonna surprise Slima, do a speed run of Stronghold Crusader Definitive Edition. Alright, we have been playing INDIKA. We started last stream, finished this stream. Relatively short game. I don't know where I'm at with this game, honestly. I guess we'll read some reviews and see what they have to say, especially this thing that claims that this game has deceptive marketing, because that sounds kind of funny. Oh my god, it's so long. Jesus, what is wrong with this dude? But INDIKA is a video game about a woman who is a nun who has some a little bit of some misconceptions going on in her brain box that make her act a little bit erratically. And as the story unfolds, we're just kind of traveling through areas and vaguely interacting with the world and encountering people that are all also just feel kind of weird and out of place. So yeah, I don't know. It's a strange game for sure. I think where I'm stuck with it is that I don't know if I get it. I don't know if oh yeah, look at this lowly red trying to understand the big brain themes of Indica. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a red, correct. I don't know if I get the game is the thing. Like I was kind of like expecting something to happen, but then it doesn't feel like anything really happened. So I'm like, all right. I don't know I don't know what to do about this. I had an overall decent experience with it. Like it was enjoyable playing through the game. I wouldn't say that the puzzles and stuff are anything out of the ordinary, but I mean it was kind of short and quaint enough that it's just like, oh, you just go through an area and it kind of feels nice. Um, I like the weirdness of the game. Like I like the music, the music felt so out of place, and I kind of like those scenes where just like the music was just playing and you were just kind of walking along and it felt like you were playing a completely different type of game. But yeah, it's simple with the themes of like the leveling up, right? I get that I get that it's supposed to just be pointless, but also I don't know if I don't know if it like hit the way it should. I don't know. It's a weird game. I'm trying to I'm trying to think what my actual problems with the game are in my head, but it's a bit hard to articulate because I don't know if I really understand the point of the game, right? I feel like it's hard to criticize something if I don't understand what it was trying to be, but I guess maybe that's the problem. Um, I think the disconnect for me is like I think the disconnect for me is that we're playing, and I like were the things we were seeing even real? Is that part of the thing? Like, was there actually a giant fish factory, or was that in my head? Because I feel like the disconnect for me probably is that the world itself feels very surreal and unrealistic, right? We have like we're traveling to a fish factory where they're catching fish that are the size of buildings, and they're canning them into giant cans of fish that are bigger than you know cars. But all of that, but the people in the world seem to be things that they at least think is real, right? So I guess all of that is real. But then we have this story of a girl that's kind of like going a little bit crazy, and but the things she's seeing are real, I guess, to a certain extent at least. Um, maybe it didn't play enough on the themes of her being a little bit cuckoo in the brain overall. Like it didn't feel like the devil or whatever talking to us really made much of a difference throughout the narrative. I was kind of expecting some sort of like revelation from that. Um, Play a third-person story-driven game set in the alternate Russia at the turn of the 19th century, where religious visions clash with harsh reality. Indika tells the story of a young nun, who sets off on a journey of self-discovery with the most unusual companion by her side, the devil himself. Hmm. Interesting. Doo-doo-doo. On the outside, Indica seems to be a typical nun attempting to adjust to a difficult and monotonous monastery life. Humble and innocent in her appearance, do not be deceived, as this young girl has also made a highly unlikely acquaintance, that she speaks with the devil himself. Indica's usual connection with the Evil One leads her on an errand beyond the safe walls of the monastery. The world she discovers can only be described as a wild combination of comedy and tragedy straight out of the novels of Dostoevsky and Bolkov. The subject of religion and authority are prevalent throughout Indika's journey, and she'll be faced with many questions along the way. Guide her to find the answers one by one before she can finish her life-defining odyssey. Ooh, poo, poo. Did I feel like the game did any of that? Yeah, this is a hard one. I think if I'm thinking through the game again, I think that I wish they would have played more on the themes of her talking to the devil. Like that felt like it was. It felt like it was almost exclusively internalized, which means that she never really like spoke aloud about any of it. But I think also the problem is that all the other characters were also so weird, right? Like all the characters we encountered were also like we come to a prisoner train that's fallen over, and then there's a guy there, and he's been impaled on the front of the train somehow, and he's getting medicine. There's a guy playing like an instrument, and we met another guy who's like bad at shooting, and he tried to shoot us, and oh, lucky it was me, because I'm bad at shooting. Like, all the people feel like they're, like, drugged out of their mind, right? Like, all the characters. But I guess that's intentional. I guess that's part of the comedy and tragedy straight out of novels by Dostoevsky and Bukalov. I guess? Um, yeah, I don't know. Let's look what other people have to say about this game. Let's look. First of all, this is... Oh, let me put this on repeat. This is way too long to read, first of all. No one's had time for this. What did Stanley Parable do to catch a stray like that? Deceptive marketing and hollow pretentiousness. Later, Trails minigame presents a series of clips of various minigames, puzzles, and scenes from the game that has the narrator asking, is this a insert genre after each one? Fairly confusing and generated by the previous trailers. For as long and all the cool stuff you see in the trailers amounts to about 30 minutes of gameplay in total. A mediocre comedy film and realizing that the funniest joke scenes were the ones you already saw in the trailer. In this game, you play INDIKA, a young nun who lives in a monastery and who is plagued by vivid hallucinations that cause her to be rather clumsy at times, which other nuns hold her in contempt. This interesting premise that made me think of Hellblade's take on psychosis, so I was hoping for something similar here. Unfortunately, other than a short cutscene at the start of the game that shows a little man jumping out of the older nun's mouth with D&B music in the background, the theme is left mostly unexplored. I agree with that. INDIKA, however, was also seemingly possessed by a demon, who often acts as an internal voice narrating INDIKA's negative thoughts, but again, the demon's screen time is fairly limited, I agree with that. The premise of the game is INDIKA was a... Oh, wait. Clemson, who was hated and mistreated by all older nuns, and eventually gets sent to a monastery to deliver a letter to some priests. At the start of her journey, she ends up helping a prisoner escape, more or less out of her own free will, and they stuck together for the rest of the game. Here's the gameplay, INDIKA's simple adventure game. Hello again! I owe this guy a treat and doggy pets. I'll do doggy pets while I read this. What? There's a single interesting mechanic in the game. When a level you're in gets physically fractured and the demon starts narrating INDIKA's negative thoughts, so you have to hold down a button to pray, which shuts the demon up and makes the whole level whole again. Yeah, I actually like that mechanic. I actually liked a lot. Alpha. Alpha, step up. Come on, Alpha. Hi, pick up. Alpha, the old dog with leg problems, just walked up the stairs to run away. I'm just trying to see where this guy, what the deceptive marketing is. I'm just reading this guy's post. Indica feels like a game that was designed by your typical edgy Reddit atheist who calls God Sky Daddy and thinks he's highly intelligent for figuring out that there is no literal man in the sky. Rich people are depicted as stupid, uneducated, unkind, delusional, and deceptive, and the concept of fate is associated with futility and doubt. Also throughout the game, you find shrines with icons and Jesus on the wall above them, where Indica can light a candle and pray, but later in the game you find such a shrine in a dark room and you light it up, the candle reveals a portrait of Karl Marx on the wall instead of Jesus. So Indica ends up praying to worship Karl Marx instead of God, which feels insulting in a weird, blasphemous way. It's such a strange and irrelevant detail. Is this guy projecting? The hell? What? Hi, Logan. What is this guy talking about? Designed by your typical edgy Reddit atheist. Indica's the kind of game that makes idiots feel smart and shallow people feel like deep thinkers, kind of like the Stanley Parable, with his vague commentary on existentialism, but I digress. Well, what is wrong with this dude? Come on, Logan. Puppies. Shots fired at Stanley Parable. Why do people get so upset about these games? Like, I feel like the people reviewing this game are like the people in the game. I feel like you have to be projecting at this point, right? Like, I feel like this dude is upset that he didn't get it, so now he's like blaming. He's like, well, only idiots get this game. You have to be an idiot to get this. That's why I didn't get it, because I'm smart. It's first mistake was playing the game. It just when I read stuff like this, it's hard for me to feel like this dude. He has to be projecting, right? Like, only dumb people get this. I'm smart, that's why I didn't get it. It didn't work for me because I'm too smart for it. Only if you're shallow. I'm too much of a deep thinker. You have to be dumb. Jesus Christ. That's how I feel about Alan Wake. Whoa. You need to take a brother man build chill pill with the da-da-da-da-da. Let's see what the negative reviews have to say about this. Today's Rage Bitch says, what's up, Deb? I'm gonna give him a treat too. I owe him a treat. Right, come on. Brother man Deb, brother man Deb, brother man Deb with the da 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 da. Brother man Deb, brother man Deb, brother man Deb. Should have bited my hand. What the hell? Bonjour, von Debatron. Yeah, I guess I'm sharing the treats now. Ja. Vær så god. Oh, is that ringgit? Ah, I got it. Me neither brother or man. What the hell? How do you know that? It's basically create pushing puzzles leading to an unsatisfactory end. That's fair reason, but I didn't really like enough. The game mechanics, it felt like they didn't want to just be a walking sim, so they threw in several one-off gimmick mechanics and didn't think any of them really worked. The first 30 to 60 minutes are very interesting. It builds you up to prepare for this amount of psychological illness, schizophrenia, and hallucination. Only 2 happen throughout the game. 68 minutes, it became a walk simulator with a few puzzles. Beautiful game visually. I'd rate it decently, but downvote for not providing what I was expecting out of it from trailers and such. What were the trailers like, since everyone's like talking about the trailers all the time? INDIKA trailer. Does the official do we watch the announcement trailer, I guess? Somewhere in Russia.
Privyet. Let me tell you about INDIKA. Who is she, you ask? Well, she's a nun. A rather plain one, if you ask me. She prays a lot, works hard.
That wasn't the monastery, I think. That was one of the rooms outside the monastery, maybe.
On top of
that, the music was really good in the game.
Obedient and humble. Goodness, she even finds some time to chat with, what do you call it? Chot. Poor girl. Of all the boring places, why do you want to go to heaven?
I probably agree that the trailers makes the game look a little bit better than
the story of a strong woman.
Pretty honest trailer.
Sorry.
I think the pro with the trailer is that it makes it look like a completely different game, kind of.
Sorry.
Sent on an important mission.
I forgot myself for a moment. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to.
During which she will discover her life's true purpose.
Did we climb all the way here just for this?
Her name is...
You. The cloistress is here! What?
None is fine.
INDIKA. The story of a nun told as a racing game?
No.
A loot-based RPG?
No.
A city builder?
No.
An arcade game?
Not.
A walking sim?
No.
A survival horror?
Not.
As a comedy?
No.
Or a tragedy?
No.
No, none of that.
All of them.
INDIKA. A subversive, self-endeavorous, multi-meta-layered, non-perspective, conscious-driven action answer seeker out now.
Huh. Oh, what is this? Is the trains? No, it's not a train simulator. Never mind. Alright. Well, I think on a scale from 10 flawless masterpiece, 9 everyone should play this, 8 good experience for playing, 7 good play sounds fun, 6 story play if you like the genre, 5 average, 4 still a functioning game, 3 barely worth playing, 2 everyone should avoid this, and 1 no redeemable qualities. I feel like, having played through the game now, I would first of all say that I don't think the story works for me. I don't think it jives with me, and I feel like they had a lot of good ideas that they didn't unpack in a particularly good way. It feels like they had some interesting and cool mechanics, but then they, instead of building on those mechanics, they kind of like diversified the mechanics, which I think in a game like this actually is a detriment, right? But the first time we did the puzzle at the start, where you're like in the you're in like the bad world where the devil's like yelling at you, and then you hold the button in to like focus in and pray. I thought that mechanic was really, really good. But the problem is that they kind of throw that mechanic out only a couple times in the game, and then it's replaced by these other, like, I would argue, very, very boring, seen them a million times mechanics, like, oh, grab the thing, push it over there. Oh, move this lever around. Oh, climb on this platform, then that platform, right? Like, I feel like all that type of stuff is okay, but it's stuff that you've seen so many times before that it's just like, it's like what that one review said. It's like, it kind of feels like gameplay for the sake of gameplay almost, right? Where it's just like, they were like, well, we need some gameplay of this, so it's just not a walking simulator. When maybe the game could have just been a walking simulator, that might actually have been better for it, honestly. Yeah, I feel like that's probably my biggest detriment. I feel like they should have focused in on INDIKA and her faith and hearing the voices, and not had so much like pointless kind of like walking around encountering things that you don't care about and doing these like puzzles that ultimately don't really matter, right? Like they're not puzzles that some of them aren't puzzles that most of them aren't puzzles that are related to her faith or to her brain, right? And we had some of them, like at the end there, when we were pushing that thing around, we saw the devil like walking around doing the same thing we were doing. Like, that's a good puzzle. All the things where we're praying to see the world as it really was, those are good puzzles, right? Those, and she has to kind of like expose herself to the devil in order to get through an area. But then we have all these other puzzles that I feel like just didn't add much to the game. And arguably were detrimental to it, I would say, because they don't really necessarily make any sense, right? Especially when it's kind of revealed at the end. I guess we were just doing all that. Like when I'm picking up the giant bridge piece with the giant crane, I guess that just happened? Question mark. I just don't get around to the pick start. Yeah, that also, I'm not sure what the point of that necessarily was, right? It's not like that's something Indika's like seeing in her head or whatever. I don't think. It just feels a little bit out of place. It feels like they wanted to do some like they're trying to do some artsy-fartsy stuff, and I don't think it's working very well for them. I think they needed to be more cohesive with their themes and their style, in my opinion. I think the game did manage to be a little bit funny from time to time, which is good for it. But I feel like if they wanted to make that type of game, they should have, again, just narrowed it down. Don't have a bunch of these scenes from just like walking through the snow or whatever. Just like narrow it down. Make it. I mean, it's already a 4-hour game, but you know. I would rather have a 2-hour game that's way more tightly packed with the narrative, where everything feels like it makes sense and is cohesive, than you know, a bunch of like pointless puzzles from moving a ladder around. Unless the ladder is important to the narrative in some way, right? I also don't understand the point of like getting the points, but then the points don't matter. I don't like I figured that would be the case, but it's just like, okay, the points are relevant, sure, like. All right. The game is like, hey, this XP stuff is irrelevant, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get it anyway. And the game's like, oh, yeah, but I told you it's irrelevant. I'm like, yeah, but you know, it's still collectible, so. Yeah, I think if I was gonna improve on this and make Indica 2, I think the big thing for me would be like I would focus down on the movement aspects of the game. I'd probably make that feel more grounded and more like real. But actually, because it feels very floaty and a little bit cheap. I think a lot of the animations were probably store-bought assets. At least they looked a lot like that. Like when Indika's climbing sometimes, she does this like really weird, I would argue, generic, non-feminine climb. Which was like, you know, that felt very much like we just bought this on storefront.com or whatever, right? Like, and that's fine. It just, I'm saying, like, I feel like a game like this would benefit from feeling more grounded, because then the characters feel more grounded, right? A lot of the animation stuff too were just wacky enough that it was hard to like take them seriously, even in serious moments. So, I mean, good. If this is their first game, I don't know if it is or not, but if this is their first game, you know, I would say pretty good. Oh, they made a. Oh no, they're making. No, they made this Scarleth, the Archer's Tale. This also has a skill tree. Is it? Oh, it's a VR bow and arrow shooter. Okay. I mean, maybe the first attempt at a game like Indika at least. So I would say for what this is, it's alright. Nothing I would write home about. Nothing I'm gonna remember in, you know, 6 months, but still pretty decent. I wish the game was just more like the initial trailer. I think that would have been cool. It could have just all been in that nun place, right? And just be in Indika seeing crazy stuff. I think that would have been pretty fitting. Probably give this like a. I feel like I've given out so many 6.5s lately. I don't want to turn into Dave Portnoy and just like I'm giving the same rating to everything. the biggest thing that always that's like almost always the deciding factor for me with games like this is, will I remember? Do I feel like the game left a lasting impression on me? And two, is this a game I would recommend anyone play? Right? And when I say would recommend anyone play it, that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means that, like, if it didn't stand up particularly to me, like, you know, if you look at this, of this giant list of games, right? We have so many games here. And you know, when we get past the 13th threshold, generally speaking, that's where generally like is that most of 4? No, absolutely not. A 4 is insane. Still a functioning game, though. That's crazy. Mostly things are like a 7 or like there are things here for sure, but most of the things are 7 or above are games that would be like, yeah, you should play this. Like, people should definitely play this. Games below here are usually games where I'm like, eh. Like I think I got mouth washing less than this game, but mouth washing at least seems like an interesting concept. Man, The Witch is also such a good game too. So with that in mind, INDIKA. I think I'd put this on like the lower side of a 6. I think I put this as like a because it's short. I'll probably I'll give it like a 6.3. I think that's where I would put where I would put INDIKA. Let's look at what reviewers said. 8. Monster score. 6.3 is pretty average on mine, on my scale. It's just like it just doesn't feel like the game necessarily like did anything too impressive to me. I feel like they had a really, really good concept. Like, from a concept perspective, I'd probably give it like a 9. But from an execution perspective, I'd give it like a 3. And then you mash those together and you end up somewhere in the middle. How did we play INDIKA? INDIKA. 6.3 hours apparently. That sounds like way too much, but I guess that is possible. Is that even possible? That I play this for 6.3 hours? There's no way, right? I have 5.4 in Steam. Interesting. Oh, we gotta trust this website, because that's what we were doing the entire time. Look at this, guys. In 3 months, probably like somewhere around here, you'll see a game called Wrath of the Righteous. Am I happy with what we've done here? I don't need to do anything else. I need to remember to put the date in here, because I want to be able to like sort by date at some point. I don't know if there's anything else. We're gonna see that page for another 3 months. Yeah, probably not. Well, maybe I'll depending on when it works for them, maybe I'll play some of this like a couple times a week or once a week or something. This isn't necessarily like a game that you have to play every day, but it could be fun to just like take a little dip out of Wrath of the Righteous once a week to do some Stronghold Crusadering. Did it stop? Even though... Wait, did I accidentally mute it? No. Did the loop just not work? Weird. Anyway, here's the plan. I'm gonna quickly run and make something to eat, and then we'll finish watching this video.
Video in the description, and I do...
We have 13 minutes after that, and when we're all done, we're gonna play some Wrath of the Righteous. So, you know, sit tight, I guess. Hang tight. Are you gonna play clips, Jace? Otherwise, I'll put the other thing on. I'll do the BRB screen if Jace is not playing clips, but I don't want to do both at the same time. I'll give it 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 4, 3, 2, 4.